Hello viewers, Super GT here. So I've jumped onto GT7 this week and I found this, a race in the shifter kart. This beautiful machine creates some of the most carnage-filled races you're ever likely to see on this game. Well, just in motorsport in general, to be honest. So I jumped into my beautiful quadrant liveried kart and oh my goodness, it's been a while since I've driven this thing and I forgot how sensitive the brake is. You can see here, I was having an absolute nightmare. If you're turning whilst braking, it's a death sentence, and plus the curbs really do affect you. So we had a nice meeting with the wall. Hello there. We're going to jump into this first race, and the practice wasn't optimal. I think that's fair to say. But we're going to leave the grid here, not jump in the lights. Away we go. P8 on the grid. And we're hoping just to have a nice clean race with a minimal amount of dying. And that's my optimum strategy really, I find, in racing. So let's see if we can pull it off. So we've got someone very slow on the left. Our first victim, if you like, already. We're driving around one of the short configurations of the Maggiore circuit. And I've never driven this kart around this track before. But it's fairly well suited. These first few corners are very fast and flowing, and then you've got this very tricky hairpin. As I'm proving, I'm not really paying attention to what I'm doing, and it's quite clear to see that this just is plainly not good enough. As we head into the hairpin again, I actually got it right this time. I did on quite a few laps get it right. That guy didn't. A little bit deep from the Frenchman. But here we are in P6 of all places, hunting down P5 and P4. 47.5 there on that lap, so the race pace was actually pretty good. Once I got some consistency down, I was okay. Unfortunately, I was very consistent at spinning to the left on that corner. Eventually finishing P8, 30 seconds down from the lead. I let my thoughts be known in the chat afterwards. The karts, they're tricky to drive, let me say. But, you know, racing driver excuses. We should just do some practice, which is exactly what we're going to do here. Setting a 47.9, and then I'm going to show you a slightly quicker lap here. It's really about carrying speed. Keep that minimum speed up through that hairpin, and obviously try and brake in a straight line, which is obviously what I was just not doing in the practice and the earlier race. A little bit wide through that turn, onto the back straight, and then this corner very tricky to get right. But you do have to get on the power as early as possible. You can see they're definitely faster than the Ghost on the exit. And it is very strange where the Ghost has no driver, but I don't know how that works. Setting a 47.7, which was good enough for 85th in the world at the time of doing it. So into the top 100, not too bad. And that put us in P4 for race number 2. Let's see if we can have a slightly better race here, because I think in the previous race my consistency and speed was okay when I wasn't crashing. So let's try just to not crash, and let's see where we get to. Oh my goodness, that almost started off very badly there. It almost turned into a good overtake somehow. I might actually just checking out this driver in front. It looks like Lewis Hamilton. It's Lewis Hamilton, guys. I didn't know that he was French or he lives in France, playing on his French account. There he is, the man himself. 7-time F1 world champ, and you know, just going to sail by him really. Lewis Hamilton's no match for Super GT, and to be fair, you know, if I was in F1, Lewis Hamilton wouldn't have 7 titles. I'd have 7. He knows that, everyone knows that, and that's why I'm ahead of him now in this race. Into the hairpin. Oh goodness me, the Brit clattering all over the big sausage curb. And, you know, those, oh, goodness me, almost losing control over that crest. And, you know, these curbs, these big sausage curbs, they're kind of there to prevent cars going over them. If you try going over them in a kart, you're going to end up in a bad way. So Lewis Hamilton goes back past me, another Frenchman goes past me, and back down to 5th. Down in towards the hairpin, final corner of lap number 4. This was a good little double move here. Getting the good exit line and getting a double overtake and pulling up once again behind Mr. Hamilton. 47.7, fastest lap of the race so far. Can we get past him? Yes, we can. Going to look for the inside into the hairpin. Bit of contact. But we get through up to P2. The leader here, 3.3 seconds ahead by the time I move here. And at the end of the race, he was 4 seconds. So he didn't actually gain too much from me in that last couple of laps to the end. So it's a P2. Couple of mistakes in there, but nothing as bad as in the first race. So we are going in the right direction, which is great to see. Now, I wanted to really try and improve my qualifying time here. Currently at 47.7. Now, on my very first lap, I did that, 47.702. But I knew I could go quicker, and oh goodness me, that was a little bit too wide. Now, you can take those first couple of corners flat out, but you do have to get the entry point dead right, which isn't as simple as it seems. On this lap, I was half a tenth up in the first sector and got a really nice exit out of the final corner. And this lap is going to be a 47.5. That is not too bad at all. But still, I think I could go slightly faster than that. Getting down towards the 0.4s, hopefully. That was not the best line through the hairpin, just not really carrying enough speed. How about this time around? Taking a nice softer line in. And it really is, I think, in these karts, it's all about just modulating that brake pedal. You have to be so comfortable with the exact amount of pressure on the brakes. You press it, if you stamp the pedal down too much, it's very sensitive and you're very likely to spin out. But it's a case of really working out exactly how much you can press it before the kart doesn't really like it anymore. On this lap, you can see there's a good exit. Are we going to beat our time? I think we are by a smidgen, which is, there we go, 47.562. So just a very small incremental improvement, should I say. We're going in the right direction. You see, this is lap 20. Hitting the big sausage, not ideal. Lap 21, can we get it a bit better? Carrying the speed nicely that time about. So we're getting there. You can see the lap times on the right, they're a bit inconsistent. And it really felt like that in these karts. They're so hard to drive that it's like, you see there, proving my point. Improving on your lap is sort of like a 1 in 15 lap event. It's not going to happen very much because you really have to push, but then when you push, you're so likely to crash. So it's a very difficult time trial session actually. I couldn't really get a huge amount of consistency down, but I was definitely improving, and I think one of the improvements I was making was just getting on the power nice and early. Coming out of this corner here, just tipping the kart in, then back onto the power as early as possible to give you a good run onto the straight. On this lap I am about half a tenth up on the Ghost coming into the final turn, and this corner, oh my goodness, it's so hard to get right. I mean, yeah, that is just slightly slower than the Ghost, but thankfully quick enough to improve to 47.5. Now my optimum was a 47.3, and that would have put me sort of somewhere approaching the top 10 in the world, but after half an hour of lapping, I don't know, I think it was probably too many laps consecutively. I couldn't really lap any quicker anymore, and I just made that classic error, and that was a sign of fatigue. I'd done too many laps, but that was a good enough 32nd in the world, which I think wasn't too bad at all. There's definitely potential for another 10th to be taken off of that time, but this race starting on pole position, and the main thing here really is just try to break away from the pack. The slipstream is so strong in these karts. If someone behind you is within 7/10, they're going to gain on you very quickly with the slipstream. So ideally you need to pull away out of that range as fast as possible. And I pretty much did that, to be honest. Faster lap at 47.5, so that's very good race pace. No crashes to report of. 47.3. I actually did a 47.3 in the race, and I couldn't do it in the time trial. But we crossed the line, and it's going to be a race victory. In fact, my 60th win in the game on this account, so not too bad at all. Quite happy with that. And for this one, I thought I'd mess it up a little bit, try something a little bit different, do an intentional full start, and then fall to the back of the pack, and then see if we can have a bit of fun. And this is where the real carnage of the karting world begins. Now these karts, I mean, the main reason really, as someone goes far to the left there, the main reason really I think is that these karts are very, very fidgety. They're very hard to handle. Very, very fine handling. This guy, he rides the sausage, and before you know it, he's turning left on a right-hander, and he's meeting his fate. So I was about to say he's gone to heaven. I don't know. He might have gone to hell. Who knows? Heaven or hell, whichever one. He's there now, and it was a good life. He died doing what he loved. But you know, good things must come to an end. So unfortunate for the Portuguese driver meeting the wall. 4 of us going into turn 1 in a big huddle here, and we're up behind Tom's Supra. Now he's about to meet a fairly similar fate to the Portuguese guy, because as you go over this crest, the kart goes very light, and whoops, turns to the right, and before you know it, what do you know? You've lost your life. You're in the wall, and you are no longer in the video. You can say goodbye to any sort of airtime now. Catching up with P5 on lap 3, gets a poor exit, tucked into the slipstream, pull out, boom, job done, up into the top 5. And on lap 5, sorry, end of lap 5, now on lap 6, setting a 47.6, decent pace, catching up with the top group. We're only 2.5 seconds off the lead here. These two guys going for a move on each other, trying to capitalise here. There's definitely potential to go into that space, but it's so risky over that crest. And it's not much of a crest, but trust me, the kart really does go very light. It's very easy to lose control over there, as the Israeli driver found out, to his detriment just moments ago. Hurtling down now towards the final turn, the man in the Iron Brew liveried kart, very, very close behind. Going to try and keep him at bay through the final turn. Lap number 6, half of the race left to go. And this guy, he's very firm in his defence. And this is exactly what I didn't want. I wanted to try and catch up with the top 2. But any defence would certainly slow me down, slow us both down. I had to really try and dispatch this guy ASAP, like yesterday ideally. And then, well, you know what's about to happen really, don't you? Coming through here. Well, unfortunately for him, the curb happened. And then before you know it, you're turning right on a straight. And once again, there we go. He met his fate. He's in the wall. Lots of people meeting the wall today. Our good friend Barry R, whatever you want to call him, the Italian version of him today, over here in Maggiore. Very popular guy. And now I find myself in third, really hunting down second. It's lap 9. We're running out of laps. There's only 12 laps here. I need to try and dispatch them as quick as possible. I'll go around the outside. There's a bit of contact, kind of to be expected really, because of the awkwardness of that breaking point, especially going in there side by side. But I'm 2.5 seconds off the lead with only 3.5 laps left to go. I'm going to have to put in some real storming laps now. And I thought it was all over because of this moment here. Coming through onto the curb, we saw what happened to our friend just a moment ago. Almost catastrophic event, but I managed to keep it out of the wall, which was brilliant, because it means that I can continue and hunt down this guy in the lead. Can you join us at the end of lap 11 as we cross the line in a few moments to begin lap 12 of 12, the final lap of the race? The pressure's on, not only for him but also for me, to deliver this amazing final lap, which would therefore be amazing content, obviously. And obviously the content's more important than the result. We're coming up over the crest. There's a yellow flag. And oh, hello viewer. A guy just coming across the track. Luckily he was ghosted. But I think you can probably guess what's about to happen because of the music. So I'll just leave you with it. Right, just kidding guys, that's not the end of the video, but it was a pretty cool end to that race. So we're going to jump over to the America's Scotch Egg. We're whipping out the Scotch Egg, see what he can do. Starting 11th on the grid. And, you know, Scotch Egg, the man of automotive mastery, the greatest driver to ever do it, and that will ever do it. Let's see what he can do behind the wheel of a 125 shifter kart. Oh my goodness. Is this Mario Kart or is this Gran Turismo 7? Sometimes I can't tell the difference. It really is that cataclysmic out there on the Maggiore circuit. Bit of contact there. We're going to drop a position, almost drop the kart on the exit of the turn. My goodness, this is all over the place, but we've gone from P11 to P7 on lap number 1. Just 6 more positions to take. Oh, where's he going? He's all over the place. We're going to dart to the left, try and take that position off of his hands into P6. And hunting down the top 5 is quite a close-knit group. As you can see, it's going to be quite tricky to get through this. Breaking the straight line. Oh my goodness, the Canadian there. He went straight on. He was like, I know he's a right-hander, but I don't really fancy turning right. I'm just going to go straight into the wall. It's a mistake I made many times earlier on in this video. But now, someone very wide there. What is about to kick off here? He's going to rejoin. It's actually quite a nice rejoin. Looking for this move down into the final turn. The Red Bull driver goes for it. Oh goodness! And he's turned. What even happened there? He just lost the back end of the car, and he swerved hard left. And boom, he's taken out his opponent with him. Not only did he want to go down on his own, he thought he'd take someone else with him. But that's cleared me to try to challenge the Brazilian for the lead of the race. And again, there's a possible move here. A risky one, because you could get pushed over that curb. We're going to bide our time here and not rush this too much. We've still got quite a long time in this race left to go. And we've got a much better exit. He knows it. He's gone to the inside. He's on defensive. Am I able to get ahead? Yes, I am. Down towards turn number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Turn number 8. I get the position temporarily, and he gets it back again. And oh, we're going to go for it. On the inside, he covered it only for half a second. But then, you know, if you leave the door open, Scott Speed is going to walk through that door and take the position. And then thankfully here, right, I managed to put away quite convincingly. Then my biggest error was that one there, getting a penalty. And I thought, let's spice this up a little bit, you know. I was 4 seconds in the lead. Let's just do a 360. Why not do a 360? To be fair, you know, just add a little bit of Gymkhana in. Just makes it a bit more interesting, really, doesn't it? Why not? And then I had to wrestle back supremacy in this race, which we did over this crest, and I was not backing out there. Bit of contact over the hill into this right-hander. There's 3 of us going through here. And it's very close between the 3 of us. Look at this. I'm going to move over, try and give another driver slipstream. The main thing is just try to not give anyone slipstream. He's not really tucked into the slipstream, so it's okay. But have a good run through here. Try to break the toe, break the slipstream. And to be fair, they've both had a very good run with me. So how about this first sector? Can we get this gap back up? A little bit wide there, a bit of a lift. It's all about this corner here, this hairpin coming up. This is where you can really make the gap, I find. Really carry the speed through. Beautiful. And then 2 guys behind had a collision. And that was it. I was set on my way to win the race. Beautiful stuff. And a fine victory for Scott Speed. I mean, how many times are you going to see a last to first, then a 360, and then back to first again? Let's just take a look at that 360 again in all its glory. I mean, just another thing on the long list of achievements from Scott Speed. You know, that was a fun little set of races there. The karts, they are freaking awful and nothing like reality, but it is always a good laugh. And on that note, thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you next time. Goodbye.